All right. A lot to talk about here, and I mean a lot, especially in terms of baseball. We have Cody Bellinger signing less than an hour ago. Luis Robert last night broke. I couldn't sleep. It was like 11 o'clock when that broke out. So that was that. We got the Rangers absolutely free falling. We have the Knicks with the 2025 Mets collapse. It's been a true free for all, free fall, I should say. Knicks collapse there. We'll talk about it all here. Any Islander questions, obviously, if people want to call up and really ask about anything, we have the number down below. I wanted to start talking about Cody Bellinger because that was the most recent thing that happened about an hour ago. Cody Bellinger signed a 5-year, $162 million contract. Cody Bellinger is a weird situation. Bellinger was at a standstill with the Yankees for about 3 months, 2 months, whatever it was. Yankees held firm. There, I applaud the Yankees. The Yankees held firm at 5 years. I think it was 150. They upped their offer to 162 was the final deal. But whatever the money was, the Yankees said we're not going over five. That was that. Bellinger and Boris, I guess, possibly, maybe somehow thought that he would get a 7-year, 8-year deal. I mean, always shoot for the stars, I guess. But that was never, ever going to happen. I've been talking about Bellinger for months now. Again, this was never going to happen. He was never getting a long-term contract. They settle at 5,162. Of course, there's opt-outs. Opt-outs have become a an almost a guarantee in baseball nowadays. We saw Bichette sign with opt-outs. We saw Tucker sign with opt-outs. We've now seen Bellinger sign with opt-outs. Even Soto has an opt-out in his contract. Almost every contract within the past 3 seasons has at least one opt-out included. If I'm a player, why would I not push for an opt-out? It's very beneficial for the player. Let's say Bellinger has a monster year this year, and then next year, because I believe the opt-out is after the second season, and the third, he has two in there. But let's say I have a monster season this year and a monster season next year. I pretty much have zero reason not to opt out. I have zero reason, not to opt out. If I'm going to look at Bellinger in this specific situation with this contract, I don't see him opting out. The other ones, like Bichette, like Tucker, most likely will opt out because they are in a better position to get that long-term deal. Bellinger already at 30 or 31. He'll be, 32, 33 by the time he is opting out of that contract by the second or third year. By that point, there's really not much to opt out for unless you really think you're going to land a 5-year deal at 32, 33 years old. I highly doubt it. Just make your 162 million. The opt-out is there if you really need it. He's making, 32 and a half a year. It's really a deal that you can't turn down. And was crazy. What the craziest part about it is that him and Boris sat there and really thought that they could get more than that. That's what you get when you hire Boris. He's going to push for those longer deals. He gets paid too, guys. So you're forgetting that. Boris gets paid 5% of the contract or whatever the percentage he gets. So if you're signing a $300 million deal, 5% right in his pocket. And now I'm not, a master at how this all works. I don't know if his team gets a piece of that or it's just him. That's beyond me. I'm just a guy in his basement talking about this. But Bellinger needed to go back to the Yankees. Not only did they need him back, he needed them. If you look at Bellinger's stats outside of Yankee Stadium last year, he had a 711 OPS outside of Yankee Stadium last year. Is it because of the short porch? Was it because he was comfortable hitting there? Was it because he was comfortable as a Yankee with the home crowd? Who knows? I'm not Cody Bellinger, so I can't give you that answer. But stats are stats. Statistics show us as much as we can about a player without personally knowing them. So, while looking at those statistics, a 700 OPS is league average. So he was league average outside of Yankee Stadium. He needed them. Not only did they need him, he needed them. I don't think a lot of people are realizing that. And that's why I think the Yankees did a great job of holding firm and saying, this is our deal. If you could go get something better, please show us. Maybe we'll match, we'll talk about it, but if you can get something better, we're prepared to let you walk. And that's exactly probably what was said. This is our best and final. Go out there, shop the market. If you want to sign a Bichette kind of deal with a 3-year deal and opt out after one and do this all again next offseason, by all means, you can go ahead and do that. But this is our offer. Now, did the Yankees maybe throw in those opt-outs as a way to just get the deal done, or did he ask for them? That I don't know. Maybe some more information will come out about that. But in terms of this contract with the Yankees and Cody Bellinger, it's a money signing. I've said since December, November, whenever the offseason started officially, that he needed to be back in pinstripes. They needed him back in pinstripes. Looking at Cody Bellinger's stats, he was pretty good last year. Bellinger was a phenomenal fielder, a phenomenal arm talent. The arm strength was there. Everything's in the high percentile over here. Even the hitting value, 82nd percentile. If you're not a fan of, this savant stats, then you're behind the 8 ball here. These are a really good way to evaluate a player and the kind of year they had, rather than just looking at numbers. Because if you are looking at this specifically, like his batting run value and his base running value and his fielding value, it's telling you, comparative to the rest of the league, this is where this guy was last year. So only 8% of Major League Baseball players provided more fielding value than Cody Bellinger last year. That's phenomenal. Again, hence why they needed him back as well. I mean, it went both ways, but the Yankees really needed him. Hitting. That's where things get a little in the gray area with Cody Bellinger. He won an MVP in 17, or whatever the year was specifically. And since then, it just has not gotten better. It's only gotten worse. But he is a streaky hitter. As you can see, even looking at the last 3 years, look at 23, 881 OPS, 26 home runs, 20 stolen bases, hit 307. A big step up from his last year in LA when he was hitting like 180. Okay, then the next season in Chicago, 266 with 18 homers and a 751 OPS. A big drop-off. What's the reason for that drop-off? I don't know. That's the kind of player he is. Then this season, his best WAR season since that MVP season. 272, better on base, better slugging, better OPS, more home runs. Most home runs he's hit since that MVP season. So you just don't know with him. It's a very weird situation with Cody Bellinger. Even looking back, let's go back a couple of years here. Let's go back, let's pick 2021. I mean, this was absolutely terrible. Look at these stats. He was the second percentile in batting run value. That 98% of major leaguers were better than Cody Bellinger at hitting the baseball and providing that batting value for your team. He was that bad. So, very weird player. He is 30. I thought he was 31, so he's 30. Just a great fielder. He can play around the diamond. He can play left, center, right, and first. Good player. Had to have him if you were the Yankees. Had his best years in the major leagues since that MVP season as a Yankee. Just made all the sense in the world. So let's hope for more more success for Cody Bellinger in 2026 because 2025 was a real step up for him. And I think the Yankees saw that, and that's why this move was made. We could talk about Cody Bellinger a lot. If anyone is watching and calls in later on and wants to talk Cody Bellinger, we can 1,000% get back into it. But I wanted to move on to Luis Robert, for the Mets. So let's take a gander at Luis Robert's Savant page because he is another interesting player, similar to Bellinger. So, looking at Robert or Robert, I have never learned how to say this guy's name. I have said Robert and people say, yo, it's Robert. And then I say, oh, you're Robert. And then I sound like, the stereotypical white guy trying to overpronounce the Spanish accent. So I don't know. You tell me, is it Robert or Robert? I don't know. But for this show, unless anyone wants to correct me, I'm calling him Robert. Or Lou Bob. Whatever the hell you want to call him. The guy's all right. Maybe he's not all right. Who knows? Another weird player here. The bat speed is there, I guess. He's swinging fast. He's swinging hard. He's an elite fielder. He's got elite speed. These situations get weird with players like this because he was on the worst team in baseball history. That's not an opinion. That is stats-based. He was on the worst record in Major League history. That was their team. That's how bad they were 2 years ago. They weren't much better last year. Did he give up? We can't really say. I'd like to think he's a Major League Baseball player. I don't think he just gave up on trying to be good. But, it sure does look that way because 2024 was the worst season ever. We see it right here, right? That was the year the White Sox broke the record for most losses in a Major League season through 162 games. Okay? And he was awful. I mean, not awful, but a below-average Major League Baseball player. In 2023, this guy hit 38 home runs, stole 20 bases, and had an 857 OPS. If you're watching this afterwards or live right now, I want you to look at this jump that's about to happen from 2025 to 2023 with these stats. We have all these 2025 stats. That's all fun and nice. Look at the jump. Completely different player. I mean, striking out at an alarming rate and swinging and missing at an alarming rate and not walking at an alarming rate and not squaring the ball up at an alarming rate. But everything else was good. The batting run value was 95th percentile. Base running value, maybe he was getting thrown out a lot that year. I don't know. He still stole 20 bags. Was an elite fielder. The range in the 98th percentile, sprint speed in the 84th percentile. And hit 38 home runs. If this is the Robert that the Mets are getting, the Mets are going to have a phenomenal season. If this is the Robert they're getting. He could strike out. Strikeouts are a part of the game nowadays, unfortunately. But Robert has the talent. He's only 28 years old. He's really entering his prime years as a Major League Baseball player. The Mets got him for defense. And speed. You could argue that Tyrone Taylor, was kind of the same player for the Mets last year as Robert was for the White Sox last year with that defense and speed and center. But, I mean, wake up and smell the flowers, people. If they're not comparable. And I like Tyrone Taylor as a person, and I think he brings value to a team as a bench guy coming in the late innings on defense. But you cannot start that guy you can't put him at the plate and start him every game. You got to be out of your mind to do that. I was very confident that Tyrone Taylor wouldn't play center field every day for the Mets in 2026. A lot of people, for some reason, really thought that he would because they hate David Stern so much. It's just not the case. It's not happening. Clearly not happening now that they've traded for Robert. In terms of him getting worse, because this was at this point 3 seasons ago now, because we are finished with 2025. We're on to 2026. So this was 3 seasons ago. He was 25 then, or 24, probably 25. At 25 years old, to have an 857 OPS, 38 home runs, and 20 stolen bases while being an elite defensive center fielder and an extremely fast center fielder, that value is immeasurable. There's really not that many elite center fielders in Major League Baseball nowadays. And if you can get him back to that form and keep him healthy, that's the main key, keeping him healthy. Look at the plate appearances, 595 to 425 to 431. 546, 393, 382 for at-bats. He's not playing as much. That's part of the reason that the home run numbers have dropped. The batting average and the OPS and the on-base percentage, well, I'm trying to help you out, Robert, okay? Get on base, please, for the love of God. 297, 278 on-base percentage the last 2 seasons, pretty unacceptable. But I think if you're a Met fan, there's reason to be excited here, especially because the Mets didn't give up a lot in this trade. When the news broke, however, the saga's been going on for a year and a half that they've been trying to trade this guy. The Mets have been interested the whole time. It was reported they wanted Vientos at first. Then they wanted some other high-rated prospects. Maybe Jet Williams. I don't know exactly who it was, but I know they wanted Vientos originally. Now, listen, it's all about who they gave up, which is Acuna and my sanitation man. That's who they got. And Acuna, in about 2 or 3 years, might be joining him. But it's disrespectful. I'm sorry. They're much better than I. But Robert isn't a premier player. He's got his pros, he's got his cons. Do the pros outweigh the cons? That's up for you to decide. That's up for us to watch next season. But main point being, if you're a Met fan, you should be excited because they gave up peanuts. It's a low risk, high reward situation here. Acuna has potential. He's quick. But the bat, when he got up to bat last year, I actually, and no exaggeration, felt like throwing up in my mouth. I mean, it was that brutal to watch. I'm exaggerating, even though I said no exaggeration. But it was brutal. He hit no home runs. Let's look at gander at Acuna's savant page, if you will. I mean, this is he didn't qualify because he didn't have enough at bats. But this is sickening. This isn't a Major League Baseball player. Maybe if he gets the at bats, I mean, he only had 175 at bats. So maybe if he gets 500 at bats, that will rise. I mean, that's naturally what happens. Sometimes the more plate appearances you get, the more comfortable you get at the plate, so on and so forth. But when he came up in 2024 because Lindor got hurt to end that season, he hit 308, 3 bombs. I was at the game where he hit 2. 966 OPS, again, 39 at bats. But you said, wow, we got a stud. We got Acuna's brother. Maybe that'll help us get Acuna over. And then I saw him hold the bat last year, and I said, get him off the team. Not only that, if you are a Met fan and you are a big Acuna guy, and you say, you know what, he didn't get the chances, and I think he's going to be a stud, he is only 23 years old. I wouldn't call you, I'm not going to argue with you that he could be, a stud here. But at 23 years old, with Simeon under contract for 3 years, they just signed Bichette. They have Brett Beatty. Lindor's not going anywhere. Vientos isn't or for the near future, Vientos isn't going anywhere. You still have Mauricio, who's probably going to start the year in AAA. Jet Williams is coming up, who plays the infield and center field. Jacob Raymer in the next coming years is going to play third base, I'm sure, or second base, wherever he's going to play. I just named 8 infielders that the Mets have on their roster or in the minors that are going to come up within the next 5 seasons. Where was Acuna going to play unless they really felt they wanted to shift him to center field and teach him how to play center? At 5'8", I don't know if that was ever going to work. If Acuna's a stud and he really takes a big step up here in his next years, getting full playing time in Chicago, I really won't be angry. I'm rooting for him. I hope he does do well. And I hope the White Sox I hope that other kid works out too for them, because they are such a bad franchise that their fans probably can't take losing much more. They probably don't even watch. If it doesn't work out for them, they're really not losing much, because with or without Luis Robert, they had 40 wins. So, I mean, does it really matter if they have him or not? It's a low-risk trade, low-risk, high-reward trade for both sides here. I think it's very even. Anyone you're looking at on X or on TV, if they're telling you it's one side or the other way, don't listen to them. Maybe it will be one day, but for face value right now, this couldn't be more of an even swap. I know people put into trade analyzers and they say the Mets gave up too much. What were you going to give up for Robert then? Nothing? I mean, they want a little something. This guy, like I said 3 years ago, showed promise that he was going to be one of the premier center fielders in baseball. So you don't just want to give him away for nothing. You want to get some value back for him, no? If you're the White Sox, I think it's unfair to expect nothing for a guy like him who is 28 years old and has the pure raw talents to be good in this league. We've seen it already. Acuna is a question mark. We haven't seen it. Mets officially signed Bo Bichette today as well. Looking at that, that was really something to be excited about here. Bo Bichette, a 3-year deal. Opt out after one. It's really a 1-year deal because I opt out after one season. I'm really interested to see how that's going to work, because the opt out after 1 year pretty much means that they're going to opt out. But if there isn't a season in 2027, why would you opt out? You're going to get paid Bo Bichette is going to get paid $42 million to sit home and watch pickleball. I mean, it sounds like a plan to me. 42 M's to sit and eat Twizzlers and watch MLB Network. I do that in my free time now. I make $0. So yeah, we really that's I'm talking too distant into the future here. We don't know what's going to happen with 2027, if there will be a season, if there is one, will it be delayed? Will they play a full season and figure it out? With the CBA discussions, who knows? I guess we can only really look at next year. Looking at this Mets roster for next year, I'm in no specific order. You got Lindor, Soto, Polanco, Bichette, Robert, Beatty, Alvarez. Benj will most likely start in left field. They really don't have a left fielder right now. I'm going to assume that Carson Benj fills that void. The Mets' main priority should be pitching. I don't think that's a mystery to anyone. Starting pitching was the Mets' weak point last season. Not that the offense didn't help. They didn't hit when they had to. There was no timely hitting. But it also didn't help that the Mets were walking back into the dugout down 5-0 in the second inning. That second half for that rotation was really, really historically bad. Manaea fully collapsed. Peterson hit a wall. Senga was never the same after Pete injured him with that awful throw, and Senga came down on the bag wrong, whatever it was. Who else? Holmes was okay, I guess. And McLean came up and was dominant, so he was the only really bright spot there. Tong's not ready. Sproat could be ready. I could envision them using him out of the bullpen a little bit more this season. He may get some spot starts here and there. He may even be so good that they can't take him out of the rotation. Again, we'll have to wait and see. But that's a lot to bank on if you're the Mets. if you're going to hope that Sproat takes a big step and hope that Tong is ready to come up at some point and hope that McLean can recapture the success he had last season and hope that David Peterson can recapture the success he had in the first half of the season and hope that Sean Manaea can recapture the success he had in the 2024 season and hope that Kodai Senga remembers how to pitch and throw strikes and hope that Clay Holmes can pitch more innings this year and can go past 5 innings. Like, that is way too much hope. Way too much hope for a starting rotation. They don't have one solidified guy in there where every 5 days you could say, all right, at least so-and-so is on the mound. I guess that would be McLean as of right now, but that's a lot to put on the kid who had a phenomenal start to his career so far. But to ask him to do that again and be the guy is a lot. Hopefully he can be. I think we all know he has the talent and stuff to do that. But I don't know if McLean will be ready to be an ace yet. Excuse me. So where does that leave the Mets? The free agent market is thin with starting pitchers. We've talked about Gallen here on this channel before. We've talked about Framber Valdez on this channel here before. I would like the Mets to maybe go after a Gallen. At the same time, it's really just contradicting what I just talked about because you're adding another hope to that rotation if you add Zach Gallen because you're hoping he can return back to the form of 2 years ago, as he struggled a lot last year. So that makes us pivot to Framber Valdez. Framber Valdez threw the ball at his catcher last year. I don't. If you are a baseball fan, you know what I'm talking about. If you aren't a baseball fan, then I guess I will explain quickly that his catcher told him, hey, step off the mound. Step off the mound. I don't like what you're about to throw. Step off the mound. He didn't. And give up a grand slam to Trent Grisham to make the lead 6-0 Yankees. Next pitch, Valdez, the catcher sets up for a low sinker, and Valdez fires a fastball at his chest, in which he doesn't catch, and he then turns around and wiping his nose and fixing his belt like he's some macho man. Based off of that purely, I don't want him. I don't want problems. There's been times where he's been a problem with the other teams he's caused fights. I don't want Framber Valdez. I'll put that out there right now. If they sign him, you can come back to this video, and if I'm celebrating, come back to this video and tell me I'm an asshole for sitting here and saying that I don't want him and then celebrating. But I don't want him. I don't care if he's a good pitcher. I don't want the Mets have dealt with. The Mets have dealt with too much of that toxicity throughout their franchise's history, not as of recent years. Just enough with the drama. The Mets need to get to the basics, play winning baseball, and win. That's it. That's it. The Mets don't need that extra BS. So where does that leave us? If we're not going to get Gallen, and we don't want Framber for the 7-year deal that he wants, who else is out there? Starting pitching-wise, no one. You're going to have to make a trade. It was reported earlier today that the Brewers have asked for Jonah Tong in a Freddie Peralta trade. Mets shut it down immediately. Good on you, David Stearns. Do not trade Jonah Tong unless it's for Tarek Skubal. That's it. They then asked for Sproat and... who was it? Let me pull it up here. It was Sproat and Jet Williams. Sproat and Jet Williams for Freddie Peralta. Would I make that deal? If the Mets were guaranteed to extend Peralta as soon as they traded for him, then yes. If he was open to an extension right away, then I would do it. But because he's not, he's going to want to test the market like every player should and will. Why would I give up Sproat and Jet Williams, two highly rated prospects in the Mets system? So that leaves the Mets at a standstill, really. If they don't want to move forward with that deal for Peralta with Milwaukee, that really maybe they under the radar go after just someone like Joe Ryan if they could get away with not giving up Tong in that trade either. Unfortunately, teams are asking a lot about Tong. I really don't see the Mets budging unless it's for Skubal. Hey, maybe they get Skubal. Maybe they get Skubal. I wouldn't put it past David Stearns and Steve Cohen, because if you notice with Bichette and Polanco and Weaver, these were all under the radar deals. There wasn't really much smoke about them to the Mets at all. I am drifting a little bit here. I'm going on a Mets rant a little bit. So let me move on. For anyone listening after this is recorded, you can skip past all the Mets talk if you don't care. Knicks. We'll go into basketball. Knicks. Oh boy, the Knicks. I got to collect my thoughts to talk about them. There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions I have, and hopefully you guys in the comments after watching this can answer me. Is it Mike Brown? Is it Cat? Is it Mikal Bridges? Is it Hart being hurt? Is it the team not meshing? Is it the pressure of losing getting to them? Is it a mixture of all those things combined? I don't know. You guys got to help me out here because I really don't know. The Knicks remind me so much of the 2025 Mets. It was the same thing that not only a good start, best team in the league start. Well, Knicks second best team in the league behind the Thunder, but best teams, a top 5 team in the league, we'll call it, for the first 2 to 3 months of the season, and undeniably as well. I always say, no matter the sport, this is how you find out what a team's made of. Can this Knicks team bounce back from this losing 9 of 11 games? Can they bounce back from that? Because if you do, as a unit, when you get to that playoffs, or the playoffs, when you get there, you could easily just say, hey guys, remember when we lost? If you're down in a series, let's say you're down 3-2. You could say, whoever the captain may be, Jalen Brunson, because he is the captain, but he could get in that locker room and say, hey guys, remember when we lost 9 of 11 games? And we were dropping like crazy in the standings, and then we bounced back, and now we're the 2 seed. Remember that? Let's go do that now. We got to win 2 games. Let's go do it. Or you could be the 2025 Mets and say, we're going to call the players team. We're going to play the players only meeting, which they have already. We're going to call a players only meeting. We're going to figure out why we're losing. We're going to try our best. And then when they don't do good, they say, and they just panic. That's what the Mets did. They panicked. Will the Knicks panic? We got a little bit to figure that out. We haven't hit the All-Star break yet, so hopefully things turn around. But as of right now, that Cat trade's looking a little bad, huh? I'm not trying to get clicks. That Mikal Bridges trade ain't looking too good, huh? Hey, listen. Knicks made the Eastern Conference Finals last year. Should have made the finals. That doesn't mean much. That was last year. This is this year. I felt that the Knicks had a better locker room with DiVincenzo and Randall around. I'm not saying Cat isn't better than DiVincenzo and Randall, but look at the Timberwolves. They look like more of a better collective unit than the Knicks do right now. Well, every team looks better than the Knicks do right now. But it seems that these New York teams are just cursed. Because even when they get the superstars and they have good seasons, look at 2024 for the Knicks and Mets. NLCS for the Mets, Eastern Conference Finals for the Knicks. 2025, or I'm sorry, that was 2025 last year for the Knicks. But point being, they're successful for a couple of years, and then it just all starts to free fall. What we have here is a test of character with this Knicks team. Let's hope they're not the 2025 Mets. Let's hope they bounce back. But right now, I think they have to get better as a unit. Because this Knicks team, there's no way to really improve them. They don't have any trade capital left. You gave up 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges, who now I'll start to get angry because I said it when that trade happened. Terrible deal. You're giving up 5 years of first-round picks for a non-superstar, and then you extend them. For $40 million a year, you extend them. I like Cat. The guy can't play defense. If a trade were hypothetically to come up and they want Cat for and plus more for Giannis, I wouldn't hesitate. Like I said, I like Karl Anthony Towns. I think he likes being a Knick. But that doesn't mean much when you're not winning. The most aggravating part for the Knicks and this collapse so far is that this is the most winnable the East has been in years. The Pacers are done. They have the worst record in basketball. Or one of the worst, whatever it is. Tatum's not coming back for God knows how long. Who's your competition in the East? The Heat? The Celtics are still playing unbelievable, and the Pistons are playing great as well, but the Knicks are better than them. On paper, the Knicks they're a better team than the Pistons, and they're a better team on paper than the Celtics right now. Without Tatum. Add Tatum, it's a different story. But there's no reason the Knicks should be collapsing. It would make more sense if the Knicks were losing games to the Celtics, to the Pistons, to these good teams. They're dropping 2 games to the Suns. They're dropping games to the Warriors. Like, that's unacceptable. It doesn't matter what point in the season you're in. It's unacceptable. And I think the Knicks felt that they were a little untouchable. That's another problem. They won the NBA Cup and, second best record in the East at a 1 seed. First time in God knows how long the Knicks are the 1 seed in the East. And here we go. Here we go. Same old Knicks. Let's hope this meeting really flips things around. Again, like I said, Knicks can't really add much. This is your team. This is your team now. This is the team you built. You fired Tibbs. You got Mike Brown. You re-signed OG. You extended Cat. You extended Bridges. Brunson's the captain. Hart's still there. Deuce is on the bench. This is your team now. Unless you make a miracle trade for Giannis, this is your team. Figure it out. Because the offseason, if you don't make the playoffs, it won't be pretty. Or even if you lose in the playoffs, it won't be pretty. There's not much you could do except trade for Giannis, which would take a haul. And you can't tank in the next upcoming years either. If things really go south, you can't tank. I'm jumping ahead a little bit there. But things are looking down for the Knicks right now. Plenty of season left to fix it. Let's hope they figure it out. And if I had to send a message to the Knicks, it would be relax. I've seen it happen in many sports. Relax. Losing happens. Don't let the pressure of New York get to you. It's going to be okay. We have one more topic here before I blabber for too long. What was it? Oh, the Rangers. Duh. The New York Rangers. I saved the best for last, didn't I? They make me want to jump out of a 15-story foot building. You know what? Not even 15. You know what? I don't even want to jump. The Rangers make me want to throw up all over my bed and then force myself to sleep in it. That's what they make me feel like. They are disgusting. Worst Rangers team we've watched in the last 10 years. That's for a fact. They have given up. They have no urgency whatsoever. Igor's down. Quick is 58 years old. Loft's a bum. And I hate to call players bums because they're professional athletes, but he's a bum. Mika, time to go. Panarin's getting traded. Trocheck might be getting traded. Fox is the only one. Let's go over it. Calm here. Chris Drury put out a message to the Ranger fans, pretty much stating that they're punting. A lot of fans took offense to it or a problem with it. I personally did not. Chris Drury has been, I don't want to say successful here because they haven't won a Stanley Cup. But, I mean, President's Cup, Eastern Conference Finals, playoffs pretty much every year. Like, I don't know. Like, is it really his fault? A lot of Ranger fans will get angry at me for saying that, but is it really his fault? Or is it that the players that are on the team currently just really don't give a shit? Maybe a little bit of both. Maybe the roster he's put together, the Rangers really haven't developed much of we had the whole kid line, remember that? How that lasted long, huh? Listen, again, I'm drifting. Drury puts that message out there. He pretty much says, hey, listen, we are not unaware of what's going on. We understand that we're a heaping pile of garbage. There's no reason to keep some of these guys that are on expiring contracts. We're going to build for the future. He called it retooling. Get out of my face with that. You ain't retooling. You are rebuilding. You're not retooling. But call it what it is. That's fine. I don't care. They need to rebuild. So I don't know how anyone can have a problem with that. They called up Panarin and they said, hey, yo, Breadman, you're out of here. We'll send you to wherever you want, but you're gone. As he should be. And not because he's bad, because what is the point of extending him? What is the point of extending him? What, because they may sneak in as the last seed? They ain't sneaking in. Look at them play. They're uncompetitive. They don't try. That's the aggravating part with this Rangers team. They don't look like they're trying. Panarin shows up. It's a paycheck. Miller's a sorry excuse for a captain. The fact that he got named captain is a joke. Mika's still on the team somehow. If he's not traded, my God, help me. If they get rid of Panarin and Trocheck, just get rid of Mika too. Just blow it up. Igor's extended, and you want to build around a guy like him. Keep Fox. I would personally keep Trocheck. But it's depressing. This Rangers team is very depressing. Because they don't try. Because they don't care. Because they have the talent. Don't let them fool you. That's what's annoying about them. They have the talent. Maybe not to win it all, but they have the talent to not be this bad. Yet they don't care. You could see it in their play. There's no motivation in that locker room. There's no heart. It's a completely different team than it was 2 years ago. That simple. Lafreniere doesn't look like an NHL player. I think every time I turn the Ranger game on, there's at least 5 defensemen laying face down on the ice. They don't know where to go. They don't know where to be on the ice. And it's little stuff like that makes them so unwatchable. Because if you're watching this, you're a sports fan. And we've all seen our teams have bad seasons. It happens. You're not going to be good every year. But there's a difference from being bad and being pathetic. Pathetic is a team that's bad, has the talent to not be bad, and doesn't try exactly what the Rangers are. That's the difference. If this team was just bad, you'd say, they're bad. What are you going to do? They got to rebuild a little bit. But now, they will be bad. Don't mistake it. Now they will be bad. Because they're pathetic, they will be bad. Because now you're getting rid of everyone. And that's what forces the GM to make the team bad when you have players who don't care. And you have an unmotivated locker room and an unmotivated team. That's what happens. So are things looking up for the Rangers by trading Panarin? No. Does it have to be done? Yes, it does. It has to be done. There's no other way around it. What are you going to just run it back next year? With a bunch of guys that don't care and don't want to play for the team? And then here's what gets me. You had one guy who cared a lot, too. You had one guy who cared a lot about this Rangers team. Anyone want to take a guess who that was? Well, there's no one here, but it was Chris Kreider. Shipped him away like he was nothing. Did he need to go? Maybe. But they shipped him away like he was nothing. Now, if they were serious about winning and believed that this team could make a real run at the Cup this year, they probably would have kept Kreider. They probably had an idea that this team wasn't going to do much. But with the talent they had, we'll see. We'll give it a shot. But Kreider was not in the situation or not in the vision here. But he cared. I'll tell you that much. He cared. He wanted to play for the Rangers. He wanted to stand up for New York City. He wanted to win for us, for this city. Off to Anaheim you go. Joining Jacob Trouba. And we name someone like JT Miller, the captain. Very angering, this Rangers team. Knicks have a chance to bounce back. This Rangers team is dead. They don't stand a chance. Matter of fact, they could win every single game from here on out, and I still would have zero confidence in them to even win a playoff game. How about that? Because they don't care. That's why. Well, my yapping's gone on a bit here. I was going to try to push it, see if anyone would join or call in. Didn't get there, but that's okay. I have no problem just yapping about sports all day. We'll be live again at some point. Maybe even tonight I'll go live again. I did go live at a bad time here. It is 3:22 in the afternoon. So, a lot of you still at work and still in school. So maybe I'll go live again tonight. But with that being said, thank you for watching. If you're watching in the near future, leave a comment. Let me know if you agree, disagree with whatever the hell I'm talking about. I lose myself a little bit sometimes. A lot going on in New York sports. Mets shouldn't be done. Yankees might not be done. A lot of offseason left there. Knicks, a lot of time to come back. Rangers, bury them. Didn't get a chance to talk about the Islanders. They've been real good so far. Nets, I refuse to even talk about them. There's no reason. What can you say? They're just bad. All right. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next time we go live. Thank you, guys.